Hi everybody, it is day 147. The high in my area is 78 degrees, so we're sticking with the varsity red. Guys, this blanket is getting really heavy. Hopefully I'm going to do a temperature blanket check-in so you can see how big it is. It's really getting big. But for this next row, we're going to do 1 double crochet in the first space, 3 double crochets in every other space all the way down to the end, and then we're going to end with 2 double crochets and a chain 3. So I hope everyone enjoys their day. It's Friday, so you have the weekend. They're Happily Hooked, Amazon, and Knitpicks affiliate links below. If you click on them and purchase something, you receive a small commission. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. I'm going to insert some Reddit stories, so I hope you enjoy those. So I'm going through a process of buying my first home, going through a program, everything. So I've been interested in hearing others about their stories about buying their first home and what they've done. So I went to Reddit, I love Reddit, and I started reading some threads, and I'll just read a couple for you. One is titled, I begged my brother to put buying a home priority 4 years ago because I knew they would be in the situation they are in today. Background. We grew up really poor, renting terrible apartments and moving around a lot. We never owned a home. I made it a priority to purchase a home and to ultimately break the cycle of poverty. 4 years ago, my brother and wife, who have 3 small kids, struggling with bad credit and living in a small apartment. Their rent was dirt cheap as the woman who owned it was in her 70s and never raised the rent. I begged them to make buying a home a priority. I looked at their finances, helped straighten out their credit, got them in a first-time home buyers program, pre-approved, and everything. A month into looking, they decided they wanted a brand new minivan immediately after their other one was paid off and decided against buying a house. They are a lower income but live in I don't know what this stands for, but a LCOL area to purchase and could afford a house at that time. Their landlord recently died and is selling the home, and they have 60 days to leave. They cannot afford the rental market now or a house anymore. They will be essentially homeless unless I intervene. It's giving me high anxiety and just brings me back to the uncertainty I felt as a kid getting evicted and living with random family members. We don't have parents to step in and help. They have passed. My brother lives 5 hours from me, so they can't simply move in. I will likely need to help them get an apartment, either by co-signing or helping pay, and simultaneously, they won't be able to save for a house any longer. I'm frustrated and in I told you so mood. I will not have my nephews homeless, so I'm going to help, but I'm mad at them for not making it a priority. I'm mad at the current housing market and inflation. I'm mad at greedy landlords raising rent 40 to 80%. I know I probably sound like a jerk, just needed to vent. So I can understand him being frustrated, but here are some comments. Unless you're willing for a lifetime of stepping in and offering financial help, you need to let them make their own decisions. You went above and beyond for them 4 years ago. Someone else said, I'd be super frustrated in your shoes too. Please don't co-sign anything. You don't want to end up putting your stability at risk because of them. I think they need to navigate this themselves to learn the lesson. They can't get out of poverty mindset if you're always rescuing them, and they should be able to get aid fairly easily since they have kids. I know you love them, but at least give them the opportunity to work it out on their own. Maybe offer to help with the deposit. Also, buying a house is not an automatic security until the mortgage is paid off. If they can't learn to deal with money, they could very easily lose a house too. I'll read this last comment. The best you can do is give them advice and hope they follow it. You are a nice person for worrying about and supporting your nephews. Unfortunately, you can't make wise financial choices for other people, only yourself. Some people are going to be terrible with finances their whole life. It's a skill like any other, and some people just won't get there. Maybe by their own fault, maybe not. Politically, we should try and set up a system where those failures don't result in homeless children. Make sure not to set yourself on fire to take care of them, though. All right, so that's story one, and let's go to the next one. This one says, title, Reality Slap in the Face, question mark, or buying a home versus skyrocketing rent. Hi, everyone. Sorry for the long post, obligatory throwaway account due to personal info/finances. I, 32 female, am at my wit's end trying to figure out what to do in regard to renting or buying a house. My husband, 32 male, and I live in a small town that's become a boom town. Home prices have gone up by double and more in some cases, and are gone as soon as they hit the market for $50,000 to $80,000 plus above an already inflating asking price. We're spending $1,700 a month for a one-bedroom apartment that's being sold. Our rent's either going to go up more or we'll be evicted to make room for building demolition or who knows what else. We've been pre-approved for a USDA RD loan for $350,000. Husband just started a new job that he worked for a year to get, and I'm in a stable job now, so we have no desire to leave, and we don't want to leave our general area for transportation costs, etc. After taxes, these are our numbers. Okay, so they're $49.59 a month. So that's $59,500 a year, less $4,188 for everything each month. We virtually no savings, as husband's previous job didn't cover everything, so I made up the difference and had to use savings to help an ill family member. Now we have about $771 left over per month now, and I'm trying to aggressively pay down debt, but it feels like we don't have time with the situation we're currently in. We're already paying over 34% of our monthly income just on rent and surviving, if that's what we're calling it these days. So how stupid are we to try to buy a house with PMI, taxes, etc., with a mortgage that would come up to about $1,800 a month? It feels like we're asking for trouble, but it doesn't seem all that different from the crappy rental situation we're working with now. I know that we shouldn't be spending that much, but it seems that the 25%/3 times your income rule don't really apply in the current markets. Any help or a firm slap in the face will be most helpful. Too long didn't read. Income $49.59 per month. Expenses and debt $4,188 per month. Rent, utilities, and all expenses/payments. Debts, medical $2,555 or $195 per month. Loans $9,400 or $2,997 per month. Credit cards $1,426 will be paid off in the next 2 months. Pre-approved for USDA RD loan of up to $350,000 with a $13,500 down payment. No savings, but starting to build again. Okay, so that's the post, and here's some of the comments. I'm going to be honest here. You say you have no savings and are paying down debt. Going further into debts, buying a house sounds like a huge mistake to me. Imagine how screwed you'd be if you bought a house and all of a sudden the AC went out or you needed to replace the roof. Just food for thought. So another person said, I don't know if this is a good example or if I got lucky, but we bought our house in 2016 when my partner and my collective income was about $60,000. Our rent was $1,500, but going up to $1,600, and our mortgage ended up being marginally higher at $1,700. I understand the argument that you should have a savings before you buy a house, but I also look back and think that buying a house was the best decision that we ever made. Instead of sinking money into the rent, we are building equity. And we never could have saved enough to have gotten to a place where we will have been able to afford a home because of how high rent is and was. That said, it was a different housing market in 2016. The market is really difficult to be competitive if you don't have extra money to go above asking, or if you're unwilling to forego inspections, etc. If you've done an inspection, then you understand large budget items that would need to be replaced/fixed, or in other words, replacing a roof that would never come as a surprise. Same with the heat and vac. The other caveat is that my partner and I both make more than double what we made when we bought our house. I changed careers, and he was with a career with a well-defined advancement/income path, federal government. My career change was a risk, but we knew we could afford the house on his salary alone. If we re-enter the market today, we could afford to buy our house at its current evaluation. But our house has doubled in value, and we were able to lock in a great interest rate, less than 2%. I kid you not. So if we had waited to buy until we could afford it, we wouldn't be at a disadvantage. Any investment has risk. There seems to be a strong aversion to buying homes on this sub. I find it hard to understand why. Okay. This one says, y'all are making under $60,000 combined. Buying a house sounds like a terrible mistake. Someone else said, you can't afford $350,000 for a house. Have you looked into buying something like a condo or a townhouse instead? If you could find something in the $250,000 range, you could save money and build equity for buying a house in the future. And I'm going to read one more comment. She said, you could afford the house if you're willing and able to rent out a room. So what do you guys think about this story? Okay, and this is the last one. It says, I have caught my 31-year-old female husband, 29 male, in several lies about his finances, which is now affecting the possibility of us buying a home. Ooh. My husband and I rent a fairly nice apartment that is more like a townhome. We have lived here for 3 years and have been married for 2. We haven't had the intention to buy a house ever since we've been married, but he has always put the brakes on for some reason. Just got a new job and it wouldn't look good on application, not enough savings right now. We have our money separate because it just works for us. We like our independence. About a year ago, I became pregnant and a teacher, so at home during the day in the summer, and a guy came to our door asking for my husband. He needed to return some work in sales material since he stopped coming a month ago. I was floored. He had been leaving every morning like normal. Turns out he wasn't making enough there and was too embarrassed to tell me and had been working somewhere else since he quit. We talked and I finally forgave him. Fast forward to a few months ago. We finally applied for a mortgage. While we were waiting to hear if we were accepted, someone came to the door and served him collection papers for an unpaid bill. He tried lying again, but I caught him. Again, I eventually forgave him. He is a good person and we have a baby. We heard back from the mortgage company. He has 3 collections in his name that I knew nothing about, and his score is too low to get a mortgage at all. I'm so hurt that he never told me this, and also furious that we can't get a house because I want a nice place for our baby to grow up. I have a great credit score, worked the same job for 10 years, pay all my bills. I would never have thought him capable of this. How bad is this? What are our options? First comment, financial infidelity is a real thing that does kill real marriages. I think for good of your marriage, financial help, and overall trust in your husband, you two sit down and discuss finances. Run hard numbers between each other and clear up any confusion so you both can reach your financial goals. And strengthen your marriage. Regularly check in with him too to see where you both stand. As for your husband, it would be best for him to begin settling his debts and rebuild his credit. If he has something in collections, then his credit is certainly in need of repair. Second comment. Just a word of advice, this could be deeper than financial decisions. There's a possibility of gambling or drug addiction, something deeper causing these financial shortcomings on his part. Maybe you need to keep your bank accounts separate, but make them transparent, where you can check each other's spending. The last comment I'll read. The fact that he was the one pushing to keep finances separate means he came into your marriage with the intention to hide things, given what he has happened since. He doesn't sound sorry. He sounds sorry he was caught. That he continued after being caught the first time is warning here. In short, you have 1 to 2 instances that feel like one-offs to you, but in reality it is more likely there has been some systemic efforts to deceive you over a period of years. What to do about the finances is really going to depend on what you do with the realization that your relationship is based on shaky foundations. While you sort that out, commingling any premarital assets, if there are any, or debt should be avoided at all costs, until your relationship gets repaired. Keeping his debt separate from yours might help you avoid the worst if you get divorced, assuming you can demonstrate you are ignorant, etc. But if you stay together, then you will be responsible for debt he incurs during the marriage. Especially as one or another, you need to get the finances on track. So keep things separate for now, but definitely you need to make it clear that because of his decisions are now impacting your life, your finances, and your relationship, you need full transparency on his finances. He's broken trust and he no longer gets to have the privacy that it is easy for him to do so. Think carefully about when to have the conversation. I suggest that you don't give him time to think about how to hide an account. Or 5, ambush him when there is an hour or 2 free to look at his side together, so he can't come up with an excuse to do it later. So those are the stories. This is a little longer than I thought it was going to be. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Leave any comments you may have, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.